Einstein never stayed in Nazi Germany to be a part of the regime, the government. Never woke up and heard beeping sounds and choose to be dissonance and cognitive confusion. Albert Einstein fled and chose a home where he could do his work, his mathematics, think, and not have a slamming fist on the wall in the middle of the night, causing grogginess in the sunshine, or the demands of a gender who wants the world neutral on an application with a checkbox to allow punishment. The masses are gathering to find those who can fix the problems and denying the singularity in learning about what they're saying they're gonna fix. Two people don't read a book. Two people don't take a test or they will be failed. The prefrontal cortex and the social part of the brain aren't some magical mechanism with mystery and consciousness from drugs. The prefrontal cortex, the social part of the brain, and other included anatomical descriptions are at risk when people do drugs and drink and fornicate in public and go home to an empty refrigerator, a neighbor who parties, dances, and talks to their wall. The new fascism is social infinity, inspiring with the emotional gesture and limiting the food to reduce the footprint on Earth. Teaching people to be diet minded paleo eaters who think they're indigenous from the lack of starch and don't say to the person who stares harder than stone, they're delusional, they're annoying, and their conversations are dull, pathetic, and similar to whispering to a baby in a crib, a child in the mother's arms who they say, so cute, so pretty, so beautiful, so neutral. Nudges for a good game in their economical processes in the system they're manufacturing now. Amass in a group don't coalesce around a group of intellectuals. They don't say to the intellectual, doctor, professor, instructor, faculty member, they are controlled by the power to say, you are creepy, you are scary, you are now. A motivated, hardworking, learning, PhD candidate, medical school student who goes to a city hall with a group of people to yell at another group of people has not done what they're explaining in their dissertation. Risking damage, assault, and no response from someone who cares other than that brutal, nasty, bat-carrying, black-dressed anarchist. Fluffy-haired woman with her waist all of her followers and lovers and cherishers adore. Groups get sterile. Masses end up fighting one another. Wolves do the same to make them stronger, more prepared for hunting. Peace, though, doesn't involve hormones, distraction, or some habit of staring in the mirror and hating the planet for being born now. A loss of a train of thought doesn't have to be scary and a sign of a disorder and an indication of difficulty. The clarity and the anarchy are what happens when there's nobody saying to the bully and their friends to go home and do the work other folks and humans are doing to solve the problem they're yelling about and saying in their propaganda. And misinformation. A plus B equals C, individual. Masses and groups, G plus M equals pi. And anybody who's got a pie tattoo knows they are intelligent. And their IQ has a number bigger than the waistline of the landlord, manager, counselor, social worker who comes to my door and lets the roar from next door go boom, 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 boom. And the drugs go. Who all together as one have coffee at the Chop Zone, formerly on Capitol Hill. Now, go to the food bank together, talk about their emotions together, and stare at one another together. As one. Now, the conditions are very similar to slavery and the culture from the black African Americans who were chained, beaten, restricted, limited, and forced to work in the fields of the white man and their families. Who Abraham Lincoln and the Union Army military set free. Repeating history from the knowledge of the history and then eliminating and removing history are dangerous, risky, and scary. Using history for the overthrow of a government and the removal of the law enforcement. And then destroying what was used as evidence for their work. In the military, they call it burning evidence. What the Chinese did in Texas at their consulate. What the workers did in Iran during the revolution when they were forced to flee their offices from the revolution. Facts and truth, so well talked about now, aren't in need of some sort of manipulation or confusion. They stand on their own now. A math teacher in a school says to the student, you need to show what you're doing or you're failed. And in this example and description now, all of the work they're saying doesn't matter because those other words mean more and have the significance the world needs to eliminate what's being said as capitalism, bourgeois, hatred and violence now.